Good Morning Joy is going international. I headed over to Kanha, India to have an exclusive one-on-one interview with Daaji. Follow me along as I experience India for the first time and the amazing Heartfulness Institute.
Okay, you guys, I leave tonight for India. I know everything's gonna be amazing. Like, this trip has been divinely guided. I know this. All right, we made it. 2 days, day and a half. But we're here, excited, air conditioning.
Welcome to Kanha Shanti Vanum, the global headquarters of Heartfulness. I am so excited to take you on an in-venture, a journey to the center. Come along as we explore all parts of Heartfulness in hopes to be able to connect you back home. Meet Kamlesh D. Patel, affectionately known to many as Daaji. He is a multiple best-selling author and the global leader of Heartfulness, which is a meditation practice by over 1 million meditators worldwide. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I'm very excited to have this conversation with you here in Kanha. And, you know, it was interesting as I was coming here, I, of course, didn't know what to expect. And my mind wanted to create all the scenarios of everything that would be here. And as I arrived, all of that left. And I said, well, it's a good thing that they stayed on brand because there's just such palpable love and heart here. And it was such a gift to receive that on arriving. So,
well, I saw you struggling in your car, passing through this herd of sheep. I saw your video.
Oh, that was the best because it was just this perfect. It was the sheep, the goat, the sunset. I was like, welcome to India. It was really nice. But I mean, coming here, you know, through the gates and with Darshvinder and just the love that everybody has, it's not something, as you know,
yes,
is everywhere. And it's been this beautiful gift to receive. And I guess what comes to mind first is, you know, we are heart.
We are basically hearts, yes. Soul, of course, we are all souls also. Next best that God has given us is the heart. Mind is also given by God. But we somehow manipulate. Heart can never be manipulated. Maybe you can manipulate someone else's heart with your mind, but you can never manipulate your own heart. Try to convince your heart. It will always rebel. I mean, if you are going to do anything wrong, of course, it's a different matter. We end up doing what we want to do. Heart will keep quiet, but definitely it will rebel.
Yes. And the mind is what gets in the way.
It gets in the way. And it's generally, in today's world, mind wins. It's a logical mind. It's very convincing. Yeah. But the heart always speaks louder. And if you listen to those little voice, it will continue to speak louder and louder and louder. Unless we develop unfortunate habit of not listening to the heart. And people stop listening to the heart because many a time we give our hearts to, let's see, to something or someone, and you get betrayed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even before giving your heart to someone, the heart already given you the warning.
The red flag.
And then we keep on blaming the heart, see? Because we went ahead without checking with the heart, and we thought that, oh, it's all love, but it was something else. Maybe just a desire, maybe just lust, maybe greed. But if you had heard our inner voice, then it would have protected. Yeah. So heart, more we listen to the heart, I think it gives clearer and clearer signal. It becomes rather clearer to us. And if we don't listen, then the sound or the voice from the heart will be feeble and feeble and feeble, and it becomes harder to listen.
And that's why we have to really center, and meditation is to be able to still that mind.
Yeah. If we have to redefine meditation, it's an art of enhancing your inner voice.
The right voice.
Right, yeah. Amplify the voice of your heart through meditation.
I remember when I first discovered Heartfulness, right before I spoke to you the first time, and it felt like, oh, thank goodness. Because I found when I would try to, quiet the mind, as most people, it's impossible. Impossible. And so to just have this other outlet to go, oh, I could sit with my heart. And that felt in that moment, the first time, so much stronger and more connected.
You felt at home.
Yes.
Home is always within.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that we don't spend as much time there?
Because it speaks the truth. Often we would like to do, it's like, we hide and do something as teenagers against, or secretly against our parents' wish, and you find it such an adventurous thing.
The rebel.
So, and who wants to listen to parents at that time?
Mm-hmm.
We are looking for quick pleasure, quick satisfaction. Heart will never agree to it. And that's why we say to hell with it. It's speaking too much. So we don't even care. Even a little child knows what the inner feelings are saying. Mm-hmm. When a child drops a bottle of milk, it looks at mother and, oops, or does something wrong and sees mother and cries. Mm-hmm. Something wrong has happened. If a child has such sensitivity, how come adults don't have? We also have, but we have learned the art of ignoring. Somehow it has become our second nature. And we are ignoring in such a way that we don't become aware of mm-hmm. this. So the life of unawareness keeps growing. Buddha also says the same thing. He said, you can lead a beautiful life when you are aware. Mindful awareness is all about that. And when you bring in the heart principle into it, and then, as we say, we glorify further in a positive way. This awareness is not enough. Let's say when you become aware of someone's misery, is it good enough? No. There has to be a next step, like Gandhian principle. Gandhi is adored all across the globe for his non-violent principle. But to me, it's wonderful, but at the same time, it's a limited principle. Not to hurt someone, it's okay. Nothing so big about it. But to become compassionate is far more advanced than being non-violent. You're not hurting someone by being non-violent. But by being compassionate, you are comforting someone. And if you can become more empathetic, kind, and reflect your compassion in action,
Right.
but then you are alleviating someone's pain. So non-violence, okay, it's okay in the beginning, but to become compassionate, kind, empathetic, and stretching out yourself and helping them, see, this is the evolutionary pattern of a human heart.
We know wars in the world,
Okay.
right? And people find it hard to be, some people, compassionate towards others or to see other people and to be kind to them. And what I found in my own journey, that once I started offering that to myself, then I was able to see people in a different way. That I was able to see that when they harmed me, it wasn't purposeful, but it was because they were human. And so my question is, do you feel that it's hard for people to be compassionate because they haven't learned how to be that way with themselves?
Yes. Being compassionate does not also mean that someone else can take advantage of you. See, we have a beautiful story, mythological story, but it really happened also. Mahabharat war, the war that happened almost 5,000 to 6,000 years back in India. There was a king, and he had cousins also, but he gave all his kingdom to his own son. He had earlier promised his brother that I will also share this with your children, which he did not because of his greed. In fact, he tried to destroy them, see. And year after year, they kept on negotiating. That if not the whole kingdom, at least we are only 5 brothers, give 5 villages. The king says, and his sons says, inheritor says, not even that much land that can be geographically put under one needle. Even that much we will not give you. So you can imagine the extent of greed. And when true negotiations fail, naturally there will be a war. And I support such wars. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. Jesus Christ, he said, if someone slaps you on one cheek, offer the other cheek. That's stupidity. Don't let someone take advantage of you. Suppose, as a parent, someone abducts your daughter. It's like slapping one on the cheek. Are you going to offer another daughter, hey, take one, buy one, get one free, or take one free? No. I have to retaliate and annihilate that negative power. Don't try to change or transform your enemies. They have decided that. In your heart, you don't consider them as your enemies. You consider them as your friend. But what to do when they, the others, treat you differently? Then it's time for action, the war.
If we are following our heart and 2 opposing people each are trusting their heart and believing in their heart that they're fighting or standing up for themselves, how does anybody ever win?
You see, during World War II, Germans, they used to have congregation in the church. Britishers had their own congregation in their church. French, they had their, Americans had their own. And they were all praying to God, please, make us the victorious country. Whom would he listen? Now, when you say, in the current scenario, Jewish state versus Muslim state, like Palestine versus Israel, and both sides considers that they are right from their perspective, their heart says, deep down, everyone knows what they are doing. It is the conditioning of how to hate others from your early childhood. Then you also you are indoctrinated by that teaching. The entire community is teaching, whether it is Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or a Jewish gentleman, everyone are conditioned that you are the glorious people. You are chosen ones. Rama or Krishna chose you, Prophet chose you, Lord Moses chose you, Jesus chose you, and that's how we keep on fighting. They must be crying up there in the heavens that what the hell is going on down there.
It's like a mother telling their child that they're each their favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a big problem, and especially these monotheistic religions. They have so much of ego, you just cannot imagine. Abrahamic religions. Mm-hmm. They all think they are better than the others. No one is better than them. And this is the main root cause of fight everywhere.
I believe it's we don't see each other.
Mm-hmm. In all religions, they say love all.
Right.
What was the need to say such a thing, love all? If you are really following your heart, there will not be any place to hate anyone.
Do you believe we can have a world without hate?
Definitely. Mm-hmm. You can surely have it. Become more aware of others' needs, your personal needs.
We're here at the Yatra Garden, and I have heard amazing things about this place, and actually I could already start to feel the energy. They've been keeping it a big mystery from me, so I'm going to meet with my guide, Darshvinder, and she is going to help us discover it together. Come on. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
So good to meet you.
It brings us so much joy to welcome you to the Yatra Garden.
Thank you.
So this is the orientation hall. If you observe the floor, can you see this? This is the diagram also in the Spiritual Anatomy book. This what is on the floor is 23 concentric circles with the center there, and this represents the journey from where we are now to the center where we have to reach. Can you feel the echo?
Yes.
Yes? And if I'm standing right at the center, there is this complete echo. So this is the march to freedom, as Babaji Maharaj calls it. So now we will be entering the Yatra Garden and understanding what the inner spiritual journey is all about.
So this whole garden is really about the spiritual journey and going through your chakras, is that right?
Yes. So what happens as we move through this journey of life, becoming a better version of ourselves? What do we experience at each chakra? How does it feel to be there? How is it represented in the form of a physical manifestation in a garden is what you will be able to observe as we move from point to point.
So I'm glad they kept the surprise for me because it was really moving and touching to see the completeness of the garden, and feels like the completeness of the journey, which of course is ongoing. It was a beautiful experience that I hope that you'll come experience sometime.
Let me ask, you talk about, our soul and the evolution of higher consciousness to ultimately get to return back to our soul, or to our heart. And so I've always wondered, I said, so if we already come from there, from this pure light soul, why do we incarnate into physical form just to ultimately work to get back there? Why not just stay there?
It's not just that.
Okay, that's what I want.
See, if we departed from the original source of purity, let's call it a potency X,
Okay.
that we descended with certain X potency. Okay? Let me, before I share this hypothesis with you, as a mother or as a father, I would wish that my children become better than me. Won't you agree on that?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Why wouldn't God wish His creation can become better than Him? Okay. So when we are created with such X potency, and we move around in this world, interact, and create a dynamic change within us, and surpass that potency that was gifted to us. Instead of X, let us say we become 1000X at an individual level with that potency. You can surpass. You can become better and better, better than you came out from the source. So that is the promise of heartfulness. I think this is the first time in the history of spirituality we are declaring that our return can be better than when we came, when we descended.
I've never heard that.
And that is the only purpose of creation. Otherwise, what is the fun in creating the world and you return back as what you were
my
before?
question.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
So that's why I shared with you the example of a mother or a father. You prefer your children to surpass you in every way.
Yeah. That's powerful because it's always been a disconnect for me. I'm like, if I'm going back, why did I come?
Well, I also struggle with the same idea because in the way I was brought up in Hinduism, we believe that the soul is immutable. Means doesn't change. It is the ultimate. It is the purest. There is nothing purer than that.
Yeah.
So, why would you want to change it? Something which is not changeable, immutable, how can you change it anyway?
Right.
Right? This body is temporary. It will last for a few years. So what's the point of evolution of the body? Body cannot evolve during the time that is given to me on this planet, 70 years, 80 years, 100 years maybe. Evolution at a physical level takes many years, many years, how the genetic transfer happens. And it takes millions of years. You can see how we have seen Homo sapiens, how they came from the earlier man to Homo sapiens, which is there today, and how the skull, the body, bones, everything has changed. Right? Who knows, one day you may fly like an eagle or swim like a dolphin, but that will take many millions perhaps. So body cannot evolve during the lifetime I'm gifted with. Soul, according to most religions, will never evolve because it is immutable. Then what's the point? So, and what is that consciousness? We make use of this consciousness so that soul attains a better potential. It realizes a greater potential and move on in that direction of evolution, say.
That's exciting to think about.
Yes, and it will happen. It is experientiable. And soul in its journey, first thing that will happen is your consciousness will shift. And as it shifts, your soul understanding or the potency of the soul will also change.
Is the soul guiding?
Soul is a witness.
Okay.
It keeps witnessing our activities. It's a consciousness that keeps guiding us through the heart. Heart is the one that gets conditioned, the consciousness part of it. The mind, the way we think depends upon how we were trained as children, how we observed in the womb of a mother, her thoughts, the thoughts of father, mother, thoughts of the entire family affects that embryo. See? What we today call epigenetic impact. Also, as we begin to interact with the community, they all influence our lives. You see how we were indoctrinated, love this community and hate this community. It's a product of indoctrination of community as well as the religion. So, parents as well. So first, if you want to evolve, you have to free yourself from such indoctrinations. And then make your own heartfelt decision. Otherwise, you remain slave to community, to such indoctrinations, and they will never allow you to become free.
And so if the soul is witnessing the journey and the person is not choosing, I don't know if it's not choosing, but they're not aware, they're not choosing awareness, or just being indoctrinated and just going with the flow of the worldly things, is that when they continue just lifetimes until they finally level up in consciousness?
Well, there's a beautiful definition by Patanjali. You heard of Patanjali, right? No, he's the father of yoga.
Oh, okay. I didn't know the name, but I've heard there is a father of yoga.
Yeah, Patanjali. He created 8 steps. And he had written so many aphorisms and second or third aphorisms in his book. He defines yoga, the ultimate state. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha, meaning cessation of tendencies of your heart. And these tendencies are indoctrinations. The moment all these tendencies stops playing around you, stops playing with your mind, you become free. And this free state of mind is able to dive into the ultimate purity, become one with that ultimate purity. And that's what yoga is. Yoga means to become one with the source. Yeah. So, going about this or transcending the impacts of your tendencies, transcending your tendencies is yoga. And how do you transcend a certain tendency? So when you close your eyes and reflect on certain tendencies we have, you recognize that this is not good. How are you going to remove it? Or sometimes you think it is so good. Mm-hmm. And when you reflect on it, then you say, oh, after many years of reflection, you then finally conclude that this too, which I thought was good, it's not very good idea. So, whatever be the tendency, I have to be ready to depart from it.
It's a readiness.
Readiness. And as you practice more and more, it's like, you see, when you are on the ground floor, you can see so much. Let's say you are in Manhattan, you're waiting for your friend, and you decided, okay, we're going to go up on the top, Empire State Building. and you are waiting on top. You have a friend who is also waiting for another friend who is coming, who is waiting on the ground. Now this person, even when he is 2 blocks away, may not be able to see, but you will be able to see from the top of the Empire State Building, even 10 blocks away, your friend is coming, walking, see? Because you are at a very high level. A person who is waiting on the ground will not see until he comes face to face across the street. So similar thing happens with our consciousness. Our understanding, as long as we remain at a lower level, then it's a problem. So it depends on our level of understanding. This level of understanding will change based on where you are at consciousness, with your consciousness. So better the understanding, you'll have a better way of thinking. So to me, these 2 things, right thinking, rather correct thinking and right understanding, they can be easily guided as we practice. As more and more clarity comes, more and more of these indoctrinations are dissolved. I become free from all those things. Only then I can have correct thinking and right understanding of not only of myself, but of others also.
But to get that right thinking, there is that, are you saying there's a struggle that someone has to have to then motivate them to, stop seeing what they're seeing and to go to the next level?
See, when you are listening to others and trying to please others in such a way that they can also resonate with your thinking, I think it is too much to ask for. I'll be happy as long as my thinking changes, my understanding change. And perchance, by chance, if I can also help others improve their way of thinking, I think it's a service. But don't expect that they will be changed, because I have already seen within the family of so many people, one person is meditating, other is not meditating. In fact, that creates so much of gap between the 2. You see, we had done a study, just for interest, the happiness of couples, husband and wife. If both are meditating, what happens? If one is meditating and other is not meditating, what happens? And when both are not meditating, so it was an interesting result. When you meditate, both are meditating, happiness factor was very good. Next best was when they were not meditating. The worst was when one is meditating and other is not meditating.
That's my partnership.
It's such a big gap, and there's always a struggle. You're meditating at bedtime, for example, right? And your spouse demands, I must have, And then you say, no, let me be, I want to meditate. And, when it comes to certain demands, I think it escalates into a war. Or when you go to some place, your friend is meditating and invited you to meditate together, and your other partner says no. And what happens then, you see? So, a couple where only one member is meditating, I think it's quite challenging how to balance that.
I can attest to that.
You sacrifice a lot in the process, and then you wonder, should I have done that?
Do you think the other one who's not meditating, though, they could get inspired, right? Or they could start to reflect.
Definitely. And sometimes when they come, they surpass you.
Like the soul.
Yeah, I have witnessed that also. That one couple in New Jersey, wife was meditating. Husband would bring her to the meditation center every Sunday. But he would sit only in the car and not meditate. He would just sit there in the car. Wife would go meditate and come back. So he'll wait till she finishes meditation. And after almost 6-7 years of driving her like that, one day he started. And he's doing so much better with meditation than his wife. He just surpassed her.
Now she wish he would have stayed in the car.
Both are meditating, but the point is, I don't know how to judge each one's situation. It's very difficult to conclude.
Yeah.
But this much is a fact, that when one is meditating, other is not meditating, there will always be friction.
Was this always part of you? Like growing up, did you always feel called to go deeper?
I always this longing was always there to center myself again and again, dive deeper. Even as we talk now, I'm moving on with a headlong speed towards the center. And I wish I just closed my eyes and just be forgotten.
Ooh, that made my heart.
And it's possible. You don't have to close eyes also. Closing eyes, it's good in the beginning. But you can continue to remain afloat and dive deeper with open eyes also through practice.
Yeah. So you always felt yourself connected to your heart easily, or were you a mind person?
I am fully convinced I'm not a mind person. In fact, there are times, most of the time, I would say, my mind remains empty. I keep fighting. Why no thoughts are coming? Why no? I try to trigger my mind to think something. So I end up watching some, shows on TV or watch some news. So it starts thinking. So it's good in a way to me, because whenever I read something, it provokes me. And then I start thinking in a certain direction. See? And the moment that exercise is done, again I'm back to rest. Mind is at rest. Heart is at peace.
I think you need to bottle that bottle.
It just happens. It just happens. And when this is what transcendence of mind is all about. When heart takes over, that means you have transcended the mind.
Yeah.
And I have also felt that, religions and spirituality, they're diametrically opposite. Religion is all about indoctrination, rituals, externalization, right? Temple, mosque, things like the synagogues outside, holy places outside. Belief system is also like that. We believe, but what do you do next after having believed? Suppose you say God is everywhere. God is omnipresent. Okay. Has this concept touched your heart? Do you continue to do bad things everywhere, knowing that God is everywhere? Right? Such things. So indoctrination promotes or provokes your mind. You keep thinking all the time about such concepts that God is everywhere. It's thinking. When you are in the field of spirituality, you begin to perceive the presence. Your heart resonates with everything that is there, and you feel that resonance is with the center of everything. So we move from feelings, we move away from mere thinking of the presence of God to feeling the presence of God. So this is a journey from religion to spirituality. See, many people, they say, oh, I don't believe in any religion, I'm spiritual. But unless you have some basic idea of what God is all about, which religion gives, which is a service religion provides. Without going through kindergarten, how can you enter the high school?
Right. Right. Yeah.
That also doesn't mean that you have to go to kindergarten.
I was going to ask, can you skip?
You can skip. You can definitely skip and move away from thinking altogether to feeling the presence. And then experiencing the presence now and then, it's not such a good thing.
It's not.
No, because you see, you'll remain frustrated.
Oh, because you'll want it all the time.
You want it all the time. And even though you may have it all the time, it is still a problem.
Why?
Think over. Only example that I can give you to satisfy you, that knowledge is good, but not good enough. Feeling is better, experiencing is better than just the knowledge.
Yes.
Now what we have concluded now, that experience is good, but not good enough. The reason is this: suppose you are invited to some king in India and you are spending 3 months in his palace and you enjoy everything. Hospitality is great, everything's great. You are experiencing a rich hospitality, generous hospitality of a king. But deep down in your heart, what would you think? I wish I was also as rich. Right? So divine experiences are great. But to become divine is another matter. So knowledge, good. Experiences are better. Experiences must move towards, now I must become that experience. Okay. Later on, I have noticed that too becomes a burden to you. Ask any rich man. Richness becomes the burden at some point.
So then ultimately you want for nothing?
You're free from everything. You transcend everything. It sounds very absurd when you say, I renunciate. This renunciation does not mean the lack of it.
Right.
Renunciation means it is there, you're not slave of it.
You don't need it.
If it's there, good. If it's not there, I'm the one who after all made it.
So there is that surrender, that, I don't know if it's surrender, but the not needing. There's a belief, I know from people, and I used to have it, that when you don't need or you don't want, then is there, not joy, but is there, is there fun in life? Is there, if you're just always here? Like, I feel like people, that's how they often look at meditators and everything, that, there's no excitement in their life.
Yeah. You see, the new craze today is not how much you have, but how much free time you have on your hands. Okay.
Yes.
Despite of working, when you start feeling that I don't feel that I'm working, you have free time all the time.
Right.
If you have the ability of take a day off and say, okay, I'm not going to my office today. Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
So how are we going to arrive at such a stage that while working, I'm still free? It means love your work so much that it doesn't become a burden to you. Most people love to escape from work because they don't like work.
Yeah.
Ask any mother, take a vacation from your children. So what the hell are you asking me to do? What vacation? Of course, sometimes you do think when it's overwhelming, you think, okay, let me have some, relaxation. But vacation?
Right.
No. It's a curse.
I remember going on vacation and not being able to get out of my mind during it until like day 6, or the 6th of the 7th day, where everything finally settled. But it took that time to be unburdened from the stuff back at home. Yeah. This is a completely different question, but it's because I see it right behind me. And I got to visit the rainforest yesterday. And I have such a love for trees. I speak to them. I walk with them every morning in Los Angeles. And there's so much life here that I feel. And I was just curious, I want to talk about your love for trees and nature, and where has that always been there? Because it's evident as I walked through it, I could feel the energy in there.
I don't know if there is any word, something like more than love. Yeah. It's our life. Trees are our life. There is a beautiful word in Hindi called Jivan. Jivan means life. And I don't know how they must have evolved this word. So if you split this word, J-I, plus 1, V-A-N, right? 1 means the forest, and G means the soul, your life. So your life is connected to the forest, Jivan. I love this Hindi version, the word Jivan for a forest. And also forest also, if you split this word, forest, for rest.
I never did that.
So India says Vanam is for your life. English, forest means it's for rest.
It's so beautiful. I love that.
So
The soul's at peace there.
so much. And they don't demand much from us. What do they need? Nothing much. Cow dung, perhaps, or horse manure, and little bit of water and sunlight.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot of mango trees and coconut trees and all those things. We don't give coconut water to coconut trees, or mango juice or orange juice to orange trees.
Yeah. Hey, you want some mango juice? Mango tree.
You just throw cow dung or cow urine or horse dung and sunlight and water. That's it. You see, trees, they take the least and they give you the life-sustaining fruits. Now the question arises about us, the human. We take the best. What is our return? What do we give in return? Or what can we give in return? There are no answers, but it's good to think.
The trees, I say, they save my life. Because no matter what it is that I'm going through, when I just walk with them, they make everything within settle down. And it's that space that I think you're speaking of when you're just in heart, or when you want for nothing, when there's nothing else but just that moment of full presence.
Well, you try this. One of our elder sisters, I used to call her as Mama, mother, from France. She's no more now, but she told me one beautiful thing, that Kamlesh, adopt one tree or plant one tree Nurture it like your child. And whenever you have issues, health problem, just rest your back on its trunk and always sit prayerfully. You just stand in front of it and offer a prayer that, would you please help me with my issues, whatever they are, and take whatever you need from my system. So when you sit with such respect with a tree, you'll see that there's some exchange, energy exchange will happen. In 5 minutes, you'll see a big change. And if you do this daily, you'll feel that something is shifting daily on a daily basis. And this is good when you lose temper, or you have a headache, or you're drained with energy. Take a help of your tree. And I feel this is a great, great, great thing. Everyone should have at least one tree. At least one tree. And if you can plant every birthday one tree, it's super. Or on the anniversaries of your parents, plant a tree.
Yeah, they stay, well, forever. I say forever, but it's giving yourself, it feels like it's returning something.
You see, with the trees, we have partnership. They take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. They remove the poisons, right? And they give out oxygen to us. Likewise, they take away the negative energies and give you the positive energy. Okay? They give so many medicines also. Sometimes we say IV is a poison, but IV is also an actor for certain diseases. It depends how you use it. You know, in olden days, Red Indians, especially in the United States, they used to stain their arrow tip with digoxin plant and shoot for hunting. It can kill a person. But the same digoxin is a lifesaver when you have heart problem.
Wow. It was special to walk through there yesterday and have doctor show me everything. We put the lipstick on from the plant.
Yeah, those seeds are there. They're called lipstick plant.
Yeah.
But the seeds, when you touch it, it's so colorful and you can... Yeah. And it's non-allergic and it's all organic. Another thing I love with the plants, let's see if I transmit to a human a certain spiritual condition. They hardly retain. It's given now and it's lost in few hours. Very little is retained, just the memory of it perhaps. But you transmit to a tree, it will hold it until it dies. And maybe even after death also, they'll keep on holding on to that state.
What is your hope here with what you've done with Kanha?
Let's have many Kanhas on the globe. Very peaceful places where people can go have a retreat, have time for themselves and center themselves, become more creative.
Yeah. I thought that when I arrived and when I was walking through here, and even just seeing what you've created here as such an example for what everyone can do, even on a smaller level.
Yeah, it can be done.
Yeah. Was this a vision? Did you see it all at once, or has it been slowly evolving?
Slowly evolving, I'd say. When we do one thing, then it gives you idea, let's do that, and then that.
Yeah. And are you still just letting that flow, or do you have just the big vision?
Yes, it will continue to get more and more refined, more and more refined. And they will also continue growing and keep changing the place. They'll keep absorbing the energy of people. Because almost everyone who comes here, they meditate. So their prayers, their energies, also their well wishes. They are absorbed by these trees and they hold on to it. So I would say these are the banks of good feelings and good energies. Yeah. You can deposit your good investment on peace with the trees.
That's what I feel here, not just from the trees, but from everybody. I've never, I take vacations, but I haven't done a retreat, a place quite like this. And like I said, as we started, that you could feel the love from everywhere. So I feel the deposits that you're talking about. That I asked you this in our first talk, and you said, I don't know. And but I'm going to ask you again. What is the one thing that consistently in your life brings you joy? That it's like your go-to anytime.
Well, when I see now someone's life changed because they practice heartfulness, it overwhelms me with gratitude to God. What a wonderful God. That gives me, that gives you so much of joy. You are witnessing the impact of such practice in someone's life. I used to get very thrilled when I was watching Brighter Minds. How children can read with their closed eyes and do so many things. Many people, they think it's a miracle or there's some sort of a cheating there. I also thought like that. Maybe there is something going on here.
That's what I saw it. Yeah.
But then when your own children can do it and say, Grandpa, there is nothing like that, I can see, then you believe, see. And also when you have thousands and thousands of children doing the same thing, seeing with blindfold, it gives you a lot of joy. And I think the future of such children will be so great because they become so intuitive. They're already intuitive. And that's why they're able to do it. But if they can retain that intuitive power through the practice we offer, they can do magical things when they grow up.
Have you noticed an improvement in your life, in yourself?
I started reading my opponent's game in badminton, and I have also improved my game a lot. Like I was able to read the opponent's game before he or she used to hit the shuttle. I was able to move to that place. So like that, my game improved a lot, and I started to win a lot of matches.
I was amazed by it.
It's like, those indigo children.
I thought that when I met them and talked about the program, I thought, well, aren't children naturally intuitive? But I hear you're saying, which makes sense, is that it's that maintaining of it. We lose that, right? And
awakening that ability, maintaining it, or taking it further. Same thing happens in meditation, see. You are awakening the new condition each day through practice. Either you maintain it or take it further. Because there is no, it's always dynamic. Either you take it further or it will die down. Evolution is also like that. Either you keep going up, you cannot say, I'm going to remain status quo or go down. Imagine a fat man. I don't know if I should say fat man or unhealthy, obese person. Right? When you see the lifestyle and see a person with the six packs, it clearly says there is effort on one side and there is effortlessness on the other side. What we say, couch potatoes. Similar thing happens with efforts and effortlessness in the spiritual world. The vibrations carried by an unhealthy person versus healthy persons, right? You can feel the difference. Mentally healthy and unhealthy. Spiritually healthy and spiritually, and you can clearly see the differences. At the two other levels, you can see vision. You can perceive it with your eyes also. Differences can be seen between a person who is depressed and one who is joyful. Right? And others are physically observable. But how do you perceive the spirituality in a person? Okay. Person who is not such a spiritual and person who is so spiritual, you can easily identify it once you begin to meditate properly. Just one look and say, okay, it's all right. This one, too gross, too complicated. And that happens because you're seeing things with your heart. You're seeing from certain heights, you see.
From the top level of the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daaji, for your time.
Thank you, Shari, for being here at Kanha. And keep coming.
Okay.